guys, it's Leanne. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, today's video is obviously a makeup comparison video. So on each side of my face, I've actually used two different setting powders. So have a little look at the face close up. Now, I actually don't really think you can actually tell a difference. Let me know what you think, but there is a difference. So if you want to know what that difference is and hear my honest thoughts and opinions, obviously stay tuned. But yeah, I have actually used two different powders on the face. So I've used the Fenty Beauty setting powder in the shade Butter, and I've used the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder in the shade Light. Which side do you think is which? Maybe pause the video now, have a little guess which powder I've actually used on each side, and then obviously continue watching to see. So do you think I've used Fenty on this side, or do you think I've used Fenty on this side, or e.l.f. on this side? Let me know, as it'd be interesting to see. Before we do jump into this comparison video, don't forget to like this video, please subscribe, please turn on the notification bell if makeup uploads are your thing. And yeah, let's just jump into our comparison video. If you have any other products that you'd like me to compare, please leave them down below, as I'm always looking to compare different products to help save a bit of money, not just for me, but obviously for my lovely subscribers, my followers on Instagram, my makeup clients. So for concealer today, I am going to be going in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and this is in the satin finish. So the shade of this is Fair Warm. So I'm going to be buffing this concealer away with the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. And when I say buffing away, I literally just mean tapping into place. Okay, that actually doesn't do the best job for the under eye. So what I will be doing is going in with a beauty blender to blend out the under eyes. So as we can see, obviously now I've got the concealer on, I've blended it out, so now it's time to test out the two powders. So for the right side of my face, I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder, and this is in the shade Light. And then on the left side of the face, I'm going to be going in with the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Instant Retouch setting powder, and this is in the shade Butter. So obviously we are going to be comparing these today and seeing if we can find a cheap dupe / alternative to the more expensive Fenty Beauty powder. So I actually do love both of these products, I really do, but it'll be interesting to compare them side by side, as it's a video I'm interested in seeing. Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing which one performs better. The e.l.f. one could shock us, but up to now my bets are going to be on the Fenty one, but I do love both of them, so let's see. So on the right side of the face, I'm just going to dip my beauty blender in to the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder, and I'm just going to be pressing this into the under eye. Just going to go in with a little bit more, not a lot. So on the right side of my face, I've used a beauty blender, and on the left side of the face, I'm going to be going in with a Tarte Beauty Sponge. I'm just going to be blending away any creases, because obviously you don't want the concealer to be sitting in the creases and then setting it with powder, as your under eye is just going to be filled with creases, which is not what we want. So dipping in now to the Fenty powder, taking off any excess. I'm going to be doing the same again, just pressing this powder into the under eye. So I'm just going to be taking a little bit more. Now straight away, one thing that I am noticing just about the powders is that the Fenty one has got a lovely smell to it. It's very lightly perfumed, but it does actually smell really nice, whereas the Elf one doesn't actually have any smell. That's not a good thing or a bad thing, it's just a side note basically. So yeah, Elf one has no smell and Fenty Beauty does have a light smell. So I'm going to be going back in now with the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush and just literally blending away any excess powder, just to see if we can see any difference. What do you think? I'm just going to lower the saturation on the camera. What do you think, guys? Can you see any difference? I actually think side by side, I actually think the Elf one looks a little bit nicer. This one is definitely a worse bag, definitely more discoloration on this under eye, so maybe that could be why the Elf one seems to look a bit better. But yeah, I'd actually say that the Elf side looks a little bit more smoother than the Fenty Beauty side. They are very similar, don't get me wrong, but I do actually think just on camera, and I'm just looking in the mirror now, I do actually think that the Elf side looks a little bit more smoother, I would say. Let me know your thoughts anyway. I'm going to be baking with both powders now, so that's just where you take an excessive amount of product, normally powder, and you just let it sit on the skin. So all this will do is just brighten up the under eye even more. So yeah, I'm going in with the Elf powder again now on this beauty blender. And then same with the Fenty Beauty powder. And I am picking up quite a lot this time. The first time I just set the under eye, but now, as I've explained, I am actually baking the under eye. So what I'm going to be doing now is leaving both these under eye powders on the skin just to bake for a few minutes. So I'm going to go back in on this side with the Elf powder and just carve out underneath the contour. Not that I've contoured yet, but hypothetically the contour is going to be here, obviously. So I'm going to be going underneath the contour. To see how each powder blends away into the rest of the makeup. So Fenty Beauty powder on this side. Okay, so you know how I was just saying before about the Elf powder looks smoother on this side? Well, it's actually a smoother application. That was just literally a smooth swipe of product, and here the Fenty Beauty powder sort of stopped here. So I have to go in again with the Fenty Beauty powder, but the Elf one just really was very smooth when I was pressing it into the skin and feels like very velvety, whereas this one, it dragged a little bit, as you can see. So just for reference in terms of skin tone, this shade is Butter, which is obviously on my skin tone now, and this is a brightening under eye powder for me. And obviously the shade and the shade Light in the Elf powder is my shade on this side. So just for comparison, if you are light in the Elf Halo Glow, then you could be Butter in the Fenty Beauty powder. But I do use various shades in the Fenty Beauty powder. I use Banana and I also use Lavender. But I'd say Butter is probably the most used one for me anyway. So yeah, that's just like a little translation in terms of if you're Butter in the Fenty powder, then maybe pick up Light in the Elf powder. So believe it or not, guys, this bake on either side has been on for literally an hour and about 10 minutes. So I didn't actually plan to have it on for this long. I did only plan to have it on for a few minutes, but yeah, I just ended up having something to eat, having a drink, and then I ended up watching The Real Housewives of New Jersey. So it's been on for an hour and 10 minutes. So I am just going to dust it off now. So I'm going back in with the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. So the Elf one is dusting away really nice. And that's how this side's looking. Okay, so here you can definitely tell there's such a noticeable difference on the under eye. It's very light, but underneath the contour, which I haven't actually done yet, you kind of can't really tell that I've had a baking powder on there for an hour. So I'm just going to wipe this off on my little house coat, by the way, which I've only got on because it's so cold. Now I'm going to dust away the Fenty Beauty side, which is also dusting away really nicely. So this is a closer look at the skin. Do you actually notice any difference between the e.l.f. and the Fenty side? I would still say that the e.l.f. side looks a little bit smoother on the under eye. Both look good, but personally I do think the e.l.f. side looks a little bit smoother. But they are very, very similar powders, very, very similar. So I'm just going to do the rest of the makeup now, which is literally just bronzer, contour, blush and highlight. So I'm going to leave this in. So skip this part if you want, but I do know that some viewers find it therapeutic to watch other people just do makeup. So I'm going to do the rest of the makeup now, and then you can see which side you actually think looks better. Up to now for me it's actually the e.l.f. side, but we'll see at the very, very end. Okay guys, so this is the finished and completed look now that all the other makeup and skin products have been applied. So what do we think of the powder now? Have we changed our minds from before? I don't think I actually have. I do genuinely stick by that the e.l.f. powder looks a little bit more smoother. Very similar, like there's hardly a difference really. You can't actually really tell, in my opinion, that I've got two different powders on each side of the face. So I was actually wrong about the Fenty powder performing better because the e.l.f. one looks smoother. But in terms of colour, like, they literally are almost identical. Like I said, the e.l.f. one looks smoother and was also smoother to apply underneath the contour. So both dusted away like a dream. So there's really not much difference, but if I had to give me honest opinions, I'd probably go with the e.l.f. one, even though that is so much cheaper compared to the Fenty one. It's actually performed better. I do love Fenty, that's one of my favourite high-end brands, and e.l.f. is probably my favourite drugstore brand of all time. So, two amazing brands, both are cruelty-free. e.l.f. is vegan, but I'm not sure if Fenty's vegan. Another bonus for both brands. When I came to wipe it off before, I was thinking, oh my god, like, it's been on the skin for an hour, I bet it's just going to look chalky and cakey and really heavy, but it actually doesn't. Both sides have literally been baking for over an hour and underneath the contour, like I said, and both sides look quite flawless. So yeah, that's our tutorial done, guys. Well, our comparison video done. So if there's anything you want to add about these powders and products, leave that in the comment section. Don't forget to like the video. Obviously, please subscribe if makeup's your thing, and think about turning on the notification bell so you won't miss any of my future uploads. But apart from that, I hope that you all did enjoy the video, and thank you so much for sticking around to the very end. If there's any other products that you'd like me to compare, please just let me know, as I'm always needing new video suggestions and ideas, because I'm starting to run out now, I'm not going to lie. I'm really starting to run out of video ideas. Apart from that, I'll see you in my next tutorial.